Welcome to Determined to Succeed. I'm your host, Dawn, also known as Unique Connector. So I'm really thrilled to have Andrea back on the show. I didn't even pay attention to what episode you were on before, but hey, we're going to have fun
We're
today.
back. That's right.
We're back. And so, this was at first we were going to talk about a Monday motivation. It kind of was the topic, but also too, I was like, what's coming up on your chest right now? And so, Andrea, what was showing up for you that you really wanted to talk about today?
Yeah, when I was thinking about doing a Monday motivation, my concept was doing an exercise that always helps me get my butt in gear, get motivated again if for some reason I'm having a slumpy moment. And that was to put myself in my client's shoes and remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing and think through their problems, their issues. What are they coming up against? What are their dreams that they don't know how to solve? And think through that, and sometimes visualization, meditation, journaling, or whatever it is. And then it like gets my butt back in gear. I'm like, all right, you know what? I got to show up. I got to do the thing because my clients are counting on me. So however we want to take that, but that was sort of the concept that I had in my head of something that could be fun to talk about.
I love it. And I think that's a great reminder to all listeners, no matter what role they're in, no matter what they're doing, is to think in the client's shoes because sometimes we always think about the solution or what we're going to do or the problem and we don't always sit back and think like what other things are they going through or what's going on that can really help us really support them.
Yes.
So let's even talk about what kind of steps do you do for yourself to really help you get creative juices and also in the flow.
hmm Yeah, I will. So I'm gonna close my eyes here as
Sure.
I'm talking. But often, if I really need to, what I'll do is I'll close my eyes and I'll say I'm going to connect energetically to my client, and I pretend that there is a form or a figure in front of me. If I have somebody in mind that's been like an ideal client in the past, maybe I'll pull them up. Otherwise, I'll just pretend that they're in front of me, and because I've worked through my clients, their problems. I'll just pretend that it's someone in front of me who has the problems that I know that I can help them solve right now. So, for example, just to color it in a little bit. So right now I'm doing spiritual business coaching. And so the person in front of me, I am imagining that they're an early stage entrepreneur. They have learned how to do strategy in business. So they know how to do a sales funnel. They know how to do a sales call and landing page. And they've done all the strategy, but something's still not working. And I know that it's still not working because they haven't aligned their energy, they haven't aligned their mindset, they haven't done the inner work that is required to take their business to a point where it is stable and consistent. And so I see them in front of me and I put myself in their shoes and I just think about how tired, pretending it's me, how tired I am from doing all the things, having no clients show up, from I went into this business because I love what I'm doing and it's not working and feeling like I need to give up and how terrible it would be to have to go back to corporate. And so just really putting myself in their shoes so that way I can remind myself that as the solution to that, like they are waiting for me. We wouldn't have an idea, we wouldn't be gifted an idea from the universe on something to offer if there was not a need for it. And I think some people forget about that. There's two sides to every coin. And I feel very strongly in what I'm doing as a coach, and I wouldn't feel that strongly if there weren't people waiting for me on the other side. And so sometimes I just go back to the basics of what are their problems and how am I the solution to their problems? And then that just revs me right up and it makes some of this the maybe tedious things of business seem a little smaller, like, oh, I'm posting, I have to post today, I have to come up with content. It's like, no, I get to do those things because there is someone on the other side waiting for those things. So good question.
Well, I love how you just kept saying waiting for me and then that I get to instead of like I should be or all those things
Yeah.
and reframing the words to know there are people out there looking for your services. There are people that need you. And to have that mindset is really important.
Yes.
And I was going to
Yes.
say, it's one thing that some people really struggle with, that they, um, don't want to internalize it. Or two, they always keep thinking of their competition and what do they got that I don't have?
Yeah.
Instead of
Yeah.
like, what do I have already that I give to them?
Hmm. Yeah, and remembering, and one of the things I like to do with my clients too is just remembering that they are unique, help them tap into what it is that they were designed to do and offer. Because sometimes if business has become a way to feed our families, a way to make money, like, I didn't want to do this other thing, and so I'm strictly doing this from a place of making money, like that is going to burn you out probably because it's not something like you really need passion, I feel like, to keep going, especially if you're doing the kind of work we do. I wouldn't be here a year and a half later if I didn't love what I did because there's a lot of shit that comes up when you own a business.
Yeah.
And so helping people like tap into what it is that you were born to do because then it feels good. There's people waiting for you. It feels fulfilling. Like it doesn't actually feel like work. And so there's a lot of webs that I like to weave with people, but just reminding them that when you are tapped into that, you were given your gifts for a reason. You were given those gifts because there are people that you have soul contracts with who need those gifts. They're waiting for you to come online. They're waiting for you to step up, to step out, and to share them. And so I just love to turn people on in that way.
Well, and I love seeing your growth through this process and seeing you step out and show your uniqueness more too, and that's where I feel like we met for a reason. And even too, like you came to my first retreat and I was like, okay, like she doesn't really know me. She's coming to my house. We're doing this retreat. And I just love too the vulnerability we had and the honesty there. And too, and just seeing you grow, you're seeing me grow through the
Mm-hmm.
process. And I think it's the part too of just finding people that are similar to us too, that know we need to keep shining and keep going our ways because people need it. People
Mm-hmm.
need us out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't see, I mean, I will say I feel competition sometimes with people in general, but I think that's just because it's stored in our body and we've been trained to see people as competition. But when you
Yeah.
actually break it down, like there is no competition because everyone has something, again, that they're uniquely designed to do for that unique stage of life for their client. And the other way I think about this too is realistically, like, how many people do I think I could serve in a
Mm,
given year at and make the money I want to make and still have the sort of energy that I have and it's I don't know 10 to 20, like it doesn't take that many people. And how many people are in Dane County, how many people are in the Madison area, how many people are like there, we need so many of us to serve the people that are out there that when you see it that way, like that completely takes competition out of it for me.
yeah. And I was gonna say for you too, I've noticed that you're leaning in more too. Like now you're using your
Yeah,
voice. You got a
thank
podcast.
you. Yes.
Way to go. Way to
Woohoo.
go.
Thank
Quick
you.
talk about that. What you're doing now for a
Yeah.
podcast.
Sure. Yeah, my podcast is called Your Business is Your Spiritual Path. And I'd been tossing around the idea of a podcast for a while, but the concept never really came together. And then when I shifted my client, what I realized was I'm also here to talk about spiritual concepts because everyone right now is going through an awakening. We're all at different phases of our awakening, but energetically on the planet, like that is really the point for being alive right now. And so I know on one element I'm here to teach those, but it also helps to teach them to a specific audience. And because I feel called to teach business owners at this point, because business owners, to me, those are like the badass change makers. They're the ones here who are going to start to shift humanity in a different way because we're all here coming up with these things that we see humanity needs and we need help. We need to be successful. And the way that we can be successful is by understanding spiritual concepts, by understanding universal principles, because you cannot avoid the fact that your energy is what creates your reality. Like that is just fact for everyone, whether you believe it or not. But if you don't understand it, then you will have a hard time in business because you will look at hardships as hardships instead of seeing them as healing opportunities. You will not focus on things like your money mindset because I was just listening to a podcast today. She's like, you can't out landing page a terrible money mindset. Like if you're looking at money as something that is hurtful, harmful, only terrible people have, like it doesn't matter how many stellar landing pages you do. And so I think that there's I see a big need for people to understand those things so that way their businesses can succeed. And so that's what I want to do through the podcast is just long form teach those concepts in a way that then allows people to go deeper on them, go deeper with me, and maybe at some point it converts, maybe it doesn't. But I know podcasting, it can open up doors for business. And it can just also open up doors for my voice. That was the other reason I went into it was wanting to find my own voice and my own message, regardless of any potential financial return. And so I think that it's helping me advance myself that way too.
Well, I'm so proud of you. Like, look
Oh,
at all the
thank
stuff that
you.
you're leaning into you and you shining bright, and then also helping other people shine bright. And
Thank you.
I have to say, I'm excited because you did say yes to Cuba. So we're going to Cuba.
Woohoo! Yes, we are. I'm so excited.
So excited.
I know. I think it was like years ago when I was like Beyonce and Jay-Z went to Cuba. Like, how did they do it? I've been like low key curious about Cuba ever since. And so I'm excited that we get to go with people who know it. They can take us around. Like, we don't have to plan any of that. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, same. And I'm looking forward to it because a lot of the women that have signed up, I don't like, not that I don't know them, but like I don't know them the best. So that's, I think, the fun part of it too, is learning and growing together and learning things about each other and realizing similarities, differences, oh, challenges. How can we be resourceful and help each other? And so that's the one part too, is just, I'm excited to see a new part of the world, go without my boys too, and go
Yeah.
with women that I don't know the best, where I think that's the part of life that we need to embrace more. And
Hmm.
so I'm just thrilled you said yes. And I'm excited to see who signs up for the last few spots that we have, because it's just a unique energy that we already have in the group where I'm excited. So
Me too.
um can't wait. I'm
Me
so glad.
neither. Yes, and like you can always make the money back if you're worried about money. Like when is this opportunity going to come again? So
Yeah. And
step
two,
out.
I sit and tell people too, I'm like, by the time you plan, like, look at all the things. You can't just go to Cuba either. You have to plan, coordinate, figure all the things out. How much like time, energy, all the things, and finding places to stay and chauffeurs, all the things where I'm just like, hey, this is perfect.
I
I
know.
can just show up and go.
Yep.
Perfect. So
Yep.
I'm excited. So
Me too. I can't
yay.
wait.
Well, I appreciate you very much. And this was a fun conversation. I hope the listeners really take time to really think in the client's shoes. Like, how how can I really show up for them and
Yeah.
really support them? So I appreciate this conversation very much. And, keep shining bright and keep evolving. And I love seeing your journey and excited for what's all to keep coming. So,
Thank you. And I'm so happy and grateful that I have you walking right beside me because we're similar, we're different, and it's just so fun to see the growth from both of us.
yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for being
You're
on the show
welcome.
today.
You're welcome.